Welcome to Muscles Matter, and you have the old two OGs, and I'm not saying that we're old, we're just the old gang. I'm here back on the set with my friend Steve Southers, does an amazing job, and you are located
at 7420 District Boulevard, right across the street from Nestle.
Hey, we just got to come in here and say we're talking about weightlifting, bodybuilding, and politics. You get it all in this show.
I wore the right shirt tonight.
So did I. Muscles matter because they do. Steve and I are waiting to share our stream live because we are coming to you live. And I'm Steve. You know, I'm still not comfortable with the way I do all this. And then there we go. There we are. We're on the set. So I'm going saying.
Yeah, I was trying to find it on Facebook. I had to go to YouTube.
Oh, man.
To actually pull it up. The Facebook, it was a little slow on.
So if you would like us, share us. We tonight are going to talk about sports that we love because they involve weight and they involved bodies and just getting out of control a little bit. But first, I've got to bring in a video that I just want to see Steve's expression on and let him rant. If you watch us on Fridays, we do relevant rants. So we're going to have a relevant rant here right now for Steve.
Should be interesting.
Well, back in the 70s and 80s, I wish I'd have had an interpreter. I'd be scot-free.
So that was on your feed today, Steve. You thought I would not notice that. So tell us about that. What inspired that moment with Pete Rose? I love Pete. Mr. Hustle. Man, I played second base. No, I wasn't that good in baseball, but I played GBA. We were the poor league, Steve. Do you remember GBA, Greenfield Baseball Association? You know, the JBA teams always had the nice manicured fields, but we had obstacles. We had gopher holes. We played out off
broken bottles.
We played off Panama Lane. But man, Mr. Hustle was my guy. Yeah, Pete Rose was that guy. What inspired that today?
Well, you if you go down the rabbit hole with Pete Rose, he was supposed to have. This was supposed to be a plea deal.
Yeah.
That he took, and he was supposed to take the plea deal, fall on his sword, to be voted back into the Hall of Fame later down the road. That's according to Pete. And then once he took the plea,
they changed it.
They changed their mind.
Why? They can do that?
Yeah. So he fell on his sword, and he never bet on his games. Like he bet to win. Like when he bet, he's like, "No, we're gonna win the game." He never bet against himself. He never did anything. Now it's when you go into the.
You're not supposed to do that.
Yeah. And like Ohtani.
Oh, there we go. Because I'm an Angel fan, and I didn't mind Ohtani because he was such a sensation for baseball. But man, was this guy hurt? But is he a phenom? But when he left the Angels, this is one Angel fan that was not disappointed because you can't spend $500 million on a player and hope to have a team. But then when you have two, Trout and Ohtani, I mean. Who do you have? Who else is on your team?
Well, Ohtani's contract's backloaded.
Yeah, well, because the Angels are still helping pay him.
It's completely backloaded. So when he retires, he takes his money and goes home.
So where we're at with Ohtani is his interpreter, who was with him at the Angels. So
it's the one falling on the sword.
Yes. So Ohtani's saying I did, but you know what's interesting? The media bought it for a minute
until social media got a hold of it,
and now Are they backpedaling away from this, Steve?
No, he's the golden boy.
You don't think they'll come after him?
No, he's the golden boy.
Yeah.
He's the golden boy. The interpreter's going to fall on the sword, but at the end of the day, what does the interpreter get $5 million from? He's $5 million in the hole.
And he didn't graduate from Northridge.
$5 million in the hole. Like, your job is to interpret. I get paid that much. I want to be his interpreter. I will go learn Mandarinese tomorrow so I can have $5 million expendable dollars to bet.
So does this, in your opinion, because there again, Dodgers and Angels are playing again. This is their spring game. They have 3 games. Dodgers won the first one. Angels won last night. I don't know who's ahead right now, but it's just to the Freeway Series early. But tonight they're playing. So do you think this puts a shadow on Ohtani the rest of the year?
No.
Do you think they're going to forget about it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Today's society is so 5 minutes.
Yeah.
It's so 5 minutes. Like we've talked about social media stuff.
Yeah.
It's real 5 minutes. There's a new trick pony coming along tomorrow.
And there's no real substance quantitative to what they do or say. They're that thing. And we'll talk about this a little more. So you want to say anything about Pete Rose and because
I think he should be in the Hall of Fame.
I would agree with you. Now there's things
no ifs, ands, or buts.
There's things I know about you, Steve. When you this guy is funny. You need to follow his TikToks and everything else. He is funny, and the dude can dance and he has moves. But when he puts something like that out, I go, there's a little more behind this.
Yeah, I believe he should be in the. I believe.
I agree.
He is everything you would want in a baseball player.
You know, and this is me, Steve, and I don't know if I'm changing with my old age or what, but I say put Barry Bonds in.
Should have been there.
Yeah. I mean, Steve, you and I have an opinion, and I know that, you know, a lot of things, and we're going to talk some about the some things that are happening with bodybuilding right now. But, you know, people are going to, well, I'll wait for the show because I spoil the show before the show.
We're going to go back to Barry Bonds real quick.
Yes.
You and I both know how long that needle's been in the locker room.
I was waiting when we were taking the brunt in the late 70s and 80s for anabolic steroids because we were visual. I was like, wait till the Chinese swimmers get caught. Wait till the bikers get caught.
I remember my friend was in the MLB, and he said that when he went to the Texas Rangers, he knew he didn't have a shot anymore.
It's so funny. I was the chaplain for a friend of mine, Doug Lohman, who was the chaplain for the Bakersfield Dodgers. So when he left to Colorado, I replaced Doug, and he asked me to do the chapels. So when I went out there, I was still a big guy. You know, guess what? The only thing they wanted to ask me, they didn't want to ask me about
that needle.
They wanted to ask me about the what they call it now. They call it gear.
Yes.
That was all the questions. I was there to pray with them, do a chapel with them. But when they saw me, they're like, so, hey.
Yeah, I remember asking my buddy was telling me that, did you know the Texas Rangers, you know, President Bush's team that he owned, every locker had a needle in it.
Steve, you and I go too far back to help disguise sports because it was just to get an edge. We all know. I had a friend, Lyle Lozano. I had a great friend, Lyle Lozano. You use too much GH. GH will cause things to grow in your body, including your muscle and anything else, which Lyle had a tumor.
Yes.
I had a friend, Dennis Newman. Dennis Newman, when he was a phenom, Dennis was much better bodybuilder than me, won the Cal a couple of years after I did, but Dennis had leukemia, which his doctors kind of said this came on by GH, the speeding up your cellular mechanisms in your body to bring out leukemia. Basically saying when you're 65, you'd have possibly had leukemia, genetically disposed. There again, I mean, I'm just telling you what I heard from my manager who helped manage Dennis. Dennis was a good guy.
When people would ask me about GH, the first thing I would tell them is go get a cancer screening.
Yeah. Do
you have cancer in your family?
Yeah, because it's gonna whatever's there, it will cause to help accelerate with growth.
Yes.
So I just wanted to bring that point up.
Pete Rose in Hall of Fame.
Yep. I'm with that, Mr. Hustle. We vote for you.
Yes.
So as we go forward, I almost forgot the show. I wanted to bring up a video, and we're going to go to that video with our friend Palumbo.
Palumbo here with another RX Muscle rant. I'm sure most of you have seen by now, maybe not, the video coming out of Brazil for the new men's wellness division, which is something that they're holding locally down there in Brazil. The Brazilians like to be innovative, that's for sure. We know they like big legs, but it seems like they're trying to move the wellness division now into the men's category as well. I spoke to some people in the IFBB, and they kind of indicated to me that while it was fine if they want to do it down in Brazil, it wouldn't be something that we'd be seeing in the IFBB
They're
Pro
watching
League
the money
anytime
Steve.
soon. I don't know, if it was done for shock value more than anything, but it seemed like the one person that they kind of showcased in this men's wellness division was slightly ambiguous. All right. It was a very feminine looking male, and I don't know if that was done purposely,
Yeah.
But is the division something that's going to be viable and that it's going to become popular? I don't know. I don't know how many guys want to have huge legs and small upper bodies. This person who was demonstrating these poses obviously was doing it in a very feminine manner. I don't think that if this division did even take hold in the IFBB NPC arena, that it would be obviously depicted like that. But I think it was, like I said, I think the video was more done for shock value, and certainly everyone seems to be responding to it, but that's more than likely because it seems to be very, very boring lately in the bodybuilding world. You know, no shows have really started yet. Yes, we're still, you know, forecasting and predicting and breaking down what could happen at the Arnold Classic, which is going to be the first show of the year. But there's really not much else happening in the industry. So when you have news like this pop out of Brazil, and it seems scandalous and controversial, you know, you're going to have people react.
We're going to have fun with that because my friend Dave Palumbo, you know, Dave's into reptiles. He sells them, yeah, pythons and all things. My son-in-law, who's into reptiles, buys things, and he goes, "Hey, was this guy a bodybuilder?" He goes, "He was a great bodybuilder, better than me." And so he's out there. He hit on two things, Steve, that I've just got to tell you about the industry. It's about money, and it's about, can they sell it, and it's about, will people buy it? And I think all of those things are ding, ding, ding.
Number one, I have a couple different things I want to go down this rabbit hole with. Number one, I applaud the Brazilians for getting in front, because the current push is to put men into the women's categories.
That is.
So I applaud Brazil for getting in front and creating a division for that.
I see where you're going, because why not let them compete there, but compete with men?
That's their division.
That look like women.
Yeah, that's their division. I mean, if you think about it, Thailand and South America is a huge population of the
guys who want to be girls.
Yes,
okay,
huge population. It's a huge population. So that does not shock me that they did that, and I applaud them for being in front of that.
But stay there in that lane, right?
Yes, and I'm with you 100%. They're going to sit back and see how the world takes it. Yeah. It may not make its way to the States, but I can see Arnold Schwarzenegger, South America, because he's got the one in South America. I can see him putting in the South America.
Why don't you think it would make it to the States? Give me your idea, Steve.
I think we have such a bad light as bodybuilders.
We do.
And there's so much stuff that goes, there's so much puff daddy stuff that goes on behind the doors.
Oh yeah. Well, we do know that's a very sexist industry, and we've seen that, and I've seen it at the worst levels.
So I don't think they want to introduce that into the IFBB just simply because they know the skeletons that are in their closet.
A lot of the guys are dead, so that's why I wore the alien body shirt tonight. so there again, I do think that bodybuilding, the way you and I knew it, is dead.
Yes, 100%.
You went with me a show this year, and
yes.
man, Steve, that really blessed me when you and Priscilla went to the show where they kind of, just said, "Yay, Tom," and bye, get off the stage. They did, but that's okay. I mean, I'm at peace with my bodybuilding past. But the key is that the sport that we know and we love is, I mean, it's going to go to an extreme. And I think it's gone to a real big extreme because our friend Dave Palumbo said something, that the Arnold Classic had just come out, and we saw it, and as we saw Hottie win. And then I'm going to bring up a couple things, Stephen. I want your comments on these. These are the stills, Josh, and the one bodybuilder. And I maybe went out of order, but I hope we'll just go down this rat hole. So we have Samson Duda, and this was an early video that I pulled up of him where he's 310 thanks to being a full-time bodybuilder at last. So he's saying, "Yay, I've achieved it. Now I don't have to work and I can focus on my career." And I think that's great, and I think the aspirations are for that. But how short-lived are the careers nowadays?
They actually have a longer career nowadays than
I did.
Yes, because there's more money.
10 years.
Well, there's more money involved. You
Is
guys,
it at the top, or is it spread evenly?
It's strictly at the top now.
Yeah.
It's strictly at the top now because of the ambassador programs, the sponsorships. So many people are willing to work for free. So they don't.
That's a big
pay.
problem. Well, the thing was they call the 80s golden era because there was gold in it.
Yes, you guys got paid.
Yeah, everybody got money.
You were in a movie. You were in a TV commercial.
Yes.
You guys got paid back then. These guys today, the youngsters are willing to do it for free.
Well, you go in. So I just saw a movie. Don't judge me on that. I saw Roadhouse.
Yes.
And I saw Jake Gyllenhaal just look shredded.
Yes.
So I'm thinking a cycle like that's probably taken maybe 4 months, 3 months to get like that. But it's all drug aided. You know, we see all that. So you know, we know that it's not the hard work that's put in, it's the chemicals beforehand. So we know that goes out there. But as we see Duda saying, I got to 310. So how heavy were you at your heaviest?
My heaviest was 340.
30-40. Mine was 260. And I was walking around like I was pulling a car behind me every day.
It hurt to stand up.
It did.
And I realized I didn't need to get any bigger. The quest for size is when I took pictures next to Ronnie.
Yes.
And when I took pictures next to Ronnie, I said, I've achieved the bigness. Now I have to dial it in.
and so as we see him, as the Arnold Classic happened, let's pull up the second picture. It says Sam Duda heads to hospital, says body is failing. So he plays second behind Hottie. And you see this a lot nowadays, which is unfortunate. You know, you see the body's failing. We know that the drugs are there. You know, I know that. We know the diuretics are there. We have people dying all the time. And it's just a sad state that is the chance. Now, we all took the chance about what was going to happen. Because I have another picture of a bodybuilder that was in the hospital. And of course, this guy achieved a lot of size.
Well, you look at Samson. Samson did the Olympia in January.
Yeah.
He did the Arnold Classic in March.
You could pull that one down.
And then he did the next Arnold with the end of March.
Yeah.
So
we went to the hospital in between.
So you and I both know how harsh it is on the body.
Just to come out. I remember when 2 day shows came out and I go, there's no way you can stay in shape for 2 days. Now we're talking 2 weeks.
He started in January and he was all in for the Olympia. You know, you're all in for the Olympia. All right, I'm going to fall back to the Arnold so I can get, because Arnold's got good money. But fall back to the Arnold. Gosh darn it, I got second again. Well, I'm still in really good shape. I'm going to fall back to, I think the next one was the South America one.
Yeah, the UK.
The UK. So I'm going to fall back to that one because I'm still in good shape. And I'm still at I'm still one of the, what is he, top 5?
He was second in
at the Olympia. I think he was top 5.
It was second at the Olympia.
Was he second?
Yes, he was.
Okay. So I know that they're not, you know how it works. They're not going to push me down and let me lose to some unknown person in the UK. So I can take that and continue to ride and, airplane travel and all that. So what's the first, you pop diuretics.
Heart issues.
So now the kidneys drying out, the intestines are drying out. You've got all the dry out. So I'm pretty sure what would happen is you and I both understand kidney failure.
Well, I've had stage 4 kidney failure, which I'm at stage 2 now based on some great health care.
And they'll put you in the hospital to say, hey, we're going to put you on dialysis for the next week or 2 so your kidneys can reboot. We're going to they're not dead yet, buddy, but let's reboot your kidneys.
And then we'll go right back into it. I got a picture I put up, and it's only one that it's Arnold. And so this came out this week. Arnold Schwarzenegger has pacemaker fitted following 3 heart surgeries. And so, and I know Arnold's heart has been bad. We go to the same cardiac clinic in Cedars because I have it. It's Steve, we can take that one down just because as Arnold's had 3, I think, valves. I think he, I forget the valves that he's had worked on. I've got a bad valve. And we know that anabolic steroids harden the arteries. And one of the first things that goes, and this is what I've learned the hard way, is the valves, because they're supposed to be flexible. You harden them out like a rubber, a valve, they're going to crack. You're going to have them replaced. So when us old athletes are having our heart we worked on, and I don't know if Arnold's ever came out and said anabolic steroids contribute to this. I don't think he has. I will say that.
Well,
I've said it on our show. I've said it in interviews all over. I said it when I was competing. I remember when Carla Dunlap interviewed me for the.
I thought Arnold already had a pacemaker put in back in the day.
No, I think he. Well, no, I think this could be the first one. I don't know.
Because I know that
This happened this week, though.
I know they go out. I had a buddy of mine that has a pacemaker, and he was having the blues because the battery life got down to like 8%.
And they got to open you up with the battery. Right?
They got to open you up, and they gave him a new one because
Can you have the rechargeable batteries in those?
I don't know.
Like the iPhone, you know.
That was kind of weird, but he was having the blues. He couldn't catch his wind, and he's on my batteries at 8%. They got to get me in so they can replace it.
So as if you're out there and you think you're going to avoid this, and you're a young guy, you will not avoid this. Nothing's for free, Steve. Would you agree?
Especially if you're blasting.
There's no shortcuts. If you're on gear, there's going to be some issues, and that's what worries me about the sport is the gear that the guys are willing to use for what you and I know. If it's for trophies, they're just plastic. And I think they're $10 glass now.
I think the downside, like in the golden era, you guys took the drugs to do the show.
Yeah,
and then when you
got off
then you got off the drugs and you took some TRT, you took a little bit of test to maintain your size, and you ate food.
And you went up and down, and people would say, "What happened to you?" And you're just like, "Hey, this is the way the sport works."
Yes.
And now everybody wants to stay that way
24/7
all the time because they're on Instagram.
Yes.
They're on YouTube, and then you get let's go here. Then you'll get the young athletes, and what's his name? The young one, Sam.
Sam, yeah.
So as you're out there, and if you're listening to the young guys, it's easy when you're young. Would you agree, Steve? I mean, when I was young, I didn't think I'd get old because you're out there. You will get old, and it will get harder every year you live. Dieting will get harder. Your body will get used to the gear. You're going to get used to everything that you.
All you got to do is look at the who's the last one that his body shut down? Rolly.
Yeah,
Rolly Winkler. And the first thing they say is his receptors don't respond.
Yeah, and so you're going to get there, and so it's easy to say, And I love Ronnie Coleman when he was talking about that, Sam Sulik. He says the only thing natural in that kid's is hair. but he said like this. The only thing matter about. I'm sorry. I saw some other guys making funny. Ronnie, don't come after me, please.
God, like I said, I like the kid. The kid
He's different.
He doesn't put out the best message, but he puts out a 20-year-old message.
Yeah. He's like, hey, you can eat what you want at 20. Because how many times did you and I go to McDonald's and have Big Mac?
At 20 years old, your metabolism, and especially you bring in the race car juice, your metabolism just like whatever.
It like, what was that? Was that a steak?
Yes.
Was that broccoli or was that a Big Mac?
When I wanted to put on size, I had to stop playing sports. Like, okay, no more going to the park on Saturdays.
Yeah, I can't run anymore.
Yes, I need to put on some weight.
So if it's about muscle size, then you and I've got a great friend, Victor Richards, and Victor, you got to be on the show. You told me you would. My friend Steve wants to have you on the show. But he finally competed after he got they worked him over so much because he was so amazing. He finally competed, won the Mr. Bermuda, Bahamas.
Yeah, something like that. Yes.
And so if you're in the physique business, you got to compare your physiques to the best, right?
Well, you look at Vic. We'll use Vic for an example. Vic made a ton of money.
He did,
and didn't have to step on the stage. Now, let's go back to this kid Sam. If this kid Sam can be the modern Vic and make a ton of money and not have to step on the stage, more power to him.
Yeah.
But
if you're talking to people how to do it that are stepping on stage,
yes.
I mean, how can you be an expert unless you've experienced contest prep? I was talking to a guy the other day that knows you and I was telling him, I said, hey, contest prep is hard.
Do you experience it?
It's out of body experience, truly. And your family won't appreciate it.
And if you can do 12 weeks, you can do anything in life.
Yeah. It's so funny. So we're not going to keep on bodybuilding. We're going to switch to powerlifting. So powerlifting got some news, and we'll bring up the article. U.S. powerlifting wins an appeal in a transgender athletes discrimination lawsuit. So what I know is, go to the next slide there, Josh. What I know is after the women's team refused to accept her, Cooper, well, it's not a her. He's got a thing.
Mm-hmm.
So, what do they say? The new measurements for women is 36, 24, 36, 6. Isn't that it? If you don't know what the 6 is, just think about it.
Yes.
And so they wouldn't take Cooper, and she initiated a legal action against the USA Powerlifting in 2021. She argued that this decision breached the Minnesota Human Rights Act, which safeguards individuals from discrimination based on gender identity. So it's just basically, if I think what I am in my mind, somebody's going to support me.
Well, let's jump back to where I was talking about South America.
Okay.
I applauded them for being ahead of the curve.
Yes.
Okay, we're going to create a division that
for boys to come out and look feminine.
Yes,
we'll
we've got
judge
this
you based
division,
on that.
and this is the division for that particular group of people. Powerlifting. Create a group. If you're trans and you're taking hormone replacement, whether male or female, because you have to take the hormone.
Because you're going to be between the men and the women.
Yes.
The biological women.
Yes. And the problem with most transgender females today is they were men for the majority of their lives.
Yes.
And
past puberty and past bone density.
Bingo. The bones get harder, the muscles get stronger, the testosterone kicks in. So you're already at an unfair advantage. Little Johnny and little Becky can play together, and Becky can pin Johnny all day long in jiu-jitsu and wrestling up until about the 6th grade. And then all of a sudden Johnny's throwing Becky all around the room and Becky doesn't want to compete anymore.
Yeah.
And it's just because that testosterone has kicked in. Johnny now has a dirt stash. He's starting to feel himself, and he's starting to get that testosterone. Because testosterone, we inject testosterone
because it's life juice for men.
Because it gets us stronger.
Yes.
Like it just the thought
more capable as men. Yes. All over.
Yes. Why does that person take steroids? Because they want to be bigger, stronger, faster.
Yes.
So if I already have more,
the sports industry knows that.
If I already have more testosterone than that person over there, that means I'm bigger, stronger, faster than that person naturally.
Because all the sports will test for anabolic
yes
or PED use because they know it works. So let's go back. Let's go pick up the second slide. So it says the district court initially sided with Cooper, deeming USA Powerlifting actions discriminatory. However, the organization later appealed the decision, which is their rights. And this was the final decision. It says that the Minnesota Court of Appeals concluded that U.S. powerlifting exclusions of Cooper from the women's division was not due to her gender identity, but instead based on physiological advantages associated with her previous male puberty. Bingo.
I will say that the city court was just like the 51 Democrats who voted for there to be no barring men from women's sports.
And they did that just to go along with the they
did not want the backlash of their agenda. They didn't want the backlash of their supporters.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got women that are in these 51 that are quote unquote feminists, and I still to this day
fighting for women's rights, but not fighting for women's rights.
If somebody out there wants to take my old self to school and explain to me how a woman who's supposed to be a feminist is cheering for a man to take a woman's place. I don't understand it, how you can say that you are for women's right and for the expansion of women. Women need to be as equally paid as men. And then you cheer for a man to come into a sport that's where women are, and you're already saying the toxic masculinity, you're already saying all these things, the pay scale, the workforce, all these things are just wrong because it's a man, and you're bringing a man in to knock a woman.
You want equality until it comes to the party
and
agenda.
That man is going to be at the top of the food pyramid just because of the things we talked about, and he is going to knock a woman.
Well, if you're out there and you want to come on our show, Steve's right here.
I will sit here and be quiet and let you sit over there and explain how, as a feminist, you're okay with a transforming male coming into your sport and moving another female out of the way.
Well, I guess if you're an Olympian like Bruce Jenner and you become a woman, you become Woman of the Year.
Well, Bruce has already said that he would never compete in a women's sport.
He said that.
Yeah, he's like,
he knows top level.
Yes.
And he knows what that's like. And he probably is like, well, I still am top level man.
Yes.
But I dress like a woman.
Yes.
Yeah.
If that's your swing, that's your swing.
Yeah, I like that, Steve. I love coming on with you. So as we're out there, I mean, as we're talking about this, you don't have to agree with this. We're okay with that. But we're going to come out there, and I think, I'm a girl dad.
So am I.
I'm a girl dad, and so
I would lose my mind.
And so as we're out there, I want the playing field to be level. And as you take powerlifting, and everything you explained, Steve, is so right on. So let me ask you a question, Steve. Steve's got a great nutrition store, and I still hear great things about your advice when people come in, and they always say, "Hey, that's Steve's real deal," which I don't really know that about you. Do you get people coming in that are playing this game where they're saying, "I want to be a man, I want to compete"? Do they come into your shop?
No,
No.
But once again, I don't want it to be contrived that I have a problem.
Like, we're not against the people group.
Like when I bounced at the last nightclub I bounced at, we had a plethora of them because they knew I wouldn't let anybody pick on them. It's not about what you are and what you want to do in life. That's you.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, what you do is what you do. I don't care. I just care because, like you said, I'm a girl dad.
And we just don't want to push down our throats that we have to change our thinking for somebody else's thinking, and because it hurts their feelings or they feel discriminated against. Because I do think that, my girls were both tops in women's tennis. And
well, the amount of scholarships that are available for women are smaller than the amount of scholarships available for men. The amount of money in women's sports is lesser than the amount of money in men's sports in college. The women get the women get the crust of the sandwich. The men actually get the sandwich.
Steve, you and I know people because you and I both competed in the NPC. And if you look at the fitness realm as bodybuilding, that NPC is the top of the food chain.
Yes.
And then IFBB. So I used to deal with a lot of people that were trophy chasers. They wanted a title. They say, "I won the Mr. California." I go, "Really? What division?" Oh, they would tell me. I go, "Well, what kept you from competing with the NPC?" Because I didn't win. I found a division where I could win in. How many times you heard that one, Steve?
Yes.
And so if you're out there and you're a woman and you just want to compete with women, you're a man and you want to compete with women just to win titles, what does it really prove?
Man, we're going to be on this subject too long. This is my last little rant on that subject. If you look at the 42-year-old male that's competing in the junior college basketball, and all the girls.
Well, there is one of those?
Yes.
I've been missing that.
Yes,
news.
Go look it up. He's 42, and he's
a good 21-year-old girl.
And he's on this one female's team, and the other team that played against him, they said no. They all literally walked off the court.
Good for them.
And so you've got he's when you look at him compared to the girls.
Well, and wouldn't that be an advantage in basketball?
Yes.
Just throw the ball.
Yes.
I used to I'm 5'10" at my tallest days. But I remember some of my friends were 6 and over. They just threw the ball over my head. White men can't jump. So
yes. It makes a big difference. Speed, height is two things you can't coach.
No, yeah. Well, that goes back to being gifted.
Yes.
Yeah. And so, well, Steve, anything else you want to throw at us today? I think I went through. Josh, did I go through all of our videos? Yeah, we hit. Did you like the format being caught off guard a little bit?
Yes, I enjoyed it. I like you. I like coming on with you because you told me curveballs like this, and I really enjoyed it. And I stuck going down rabbit holes, and these rants, like things like that. So I had a great time.
I did too. So if you like what we put out there again, we're all about muscles. We're all about performance. And if you want somebody to help you with supplements at work, see Steve Southers at Sportslanders West,
7420 District Boulevard,
right across from Nestle's. So go Nestle's. No. Go to Sportslanders West.
Yes.
Yes. So thank you.
I got a root canal when I worked at Nestle.
Did you?
Yes. I worked in palletizing and the ice cream was frozen like rocks.
Oh, there we never did say we didn't go eat bad things.
Yes.
So, hey, thank you for watching. We'll see you next week on Muscles Matter because they do.